All right, here we go again. Carson Meredith with you. It is 7 o'clock on Saturday night, January 18th. It's going to snow again, guys. That's obviously the big headline as we look ahead to our alert day that's in place for Sunday. I'm going to spend a little more time just kind of walking through all of those details because we've really got three big things to talk about over the next couple of days, as you might see in the headline, wherever you're watching us tonight. First of all, we got the flash freeze threat overnight. Then we had the snow on Sunday morning, especially, mainly Sunday morning. And then, of course, we had that dangerous cold that settles in Sunday night and for the holiday on Monday. So we're going to spend a good bit of time just walking through every single one of those details, answering your questions if you have any. Let's just say right out of the gate, this is not going to be like 2 weeks ago as far as snow is concerned. But it's going to be cold, of course, below freezing, and that might cause some travel issues. That's really the main reason why the alert day is in place for tomorrow. Let's kick off with a couple of comments. Again, wherever you're watching us, just let us know. DJ King is in North Vernon. Always appreciate you watching, my friend. Shonda, same to you. Hope you're well. Rose says, hey, thank you all for taking the time to do these. Of course, we know that times are changing. They always are. We know you guys don't usually, or a lot of you don't wait for news on TV anymore because you get news on this thing a lot, right? So we make sure we get that weather information to you on all those social platforms when we're not on TV. And of course, here on Wave Weather Now, 24/7 weather live stream, the only one in Louisville. Weather Geek says it's time for bots. Boogie off to Sarasota. I like that. I like that a lot. I usually like cold. I'd rather be cold than hot, but this is a little too cold for my liking. Carrie says this snow is taking too long to melt. Yes, it is. It's not totally gone, and whatever snow is still here overnight tonight is not going anywhere anytime soon. The snow from 2 weeks ago, that is. So we'll have some left over before this next round of snow moves in. Tomorrow morning, Angela says, hello, what a gloomy, gray day. Felt like 5 o'clock at 1 this afternoon. Yeah, it did. Just that misty, drizzly kind of stuff all day. Yep, indeed. Danny sums up my thoughts very well right now. These snow systems just love Sundays. Yeah, I'm exhausted. That's okay. It's part of it. This is our third Sunday out of the last 4 with an alert day. Crazy, crazy, crazy. All right, here we go. That's out in Bardstown tonight. Everybody's out and about on a Saturday night. Doesn't look like there's a lot of snow left in Bardstown. Granted, you guys didn't see quite as much from those last 2 winter storms that we had. But the thing that worries me is the roads are still wet. That's going to set the stage for our first component of this messy forecast, which is that flash freeze, of course, that is on the table tonight. Here in Louisville, we are still above freezing, 37. But look at that wind. It's out of the north now. It's starting to ramp up, so it really feels like 28 outside with that northerly breeze. That's going to be a big factor, especially by Monday. And I do expect that is these temperatures to keep on dropping as the evening goes on. Here in Louisville, I think we'll be below freezing around midnight. And that's when our alert day kicks in, and that's also when the risk for that flash freeze also comes into play. Here's those temperatures across the board. It's not just Louisville above freezing, it's all of us. 36 in Jeff, 34 in LaGrange, 34 in Shelbyville, 37 as we mentioned here in the city, 37 in Bardstown too. It's 34 in E-Town. So yeah, most of us are still in the mid 30s. But look at the left side of the graphic where you see those lighter shades of red. That's it, guys. That's the bitter, bitter, bitter cold air that's going to be moving in overnight tonight. We will all be waking up tomorrow morning with temperatures in the 20s, low to mid 20s in all likelihood. And again, that sets the stage for the alert day. It still kicks in at midnight tonight. I'll explain why in a second. I've extended the timing on the alert day to 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. And I'll explain why also in just a second. But this is the general time frame that you're going to have to watch being out and about tomorrow morning, really, especially. Again, this is not like 2 weeks ago. This is not a 2-day winter storm. Quite honestly, the snow will be at its heaviest for 6 hours, and then it's moving on out. I really think most of us are done with the snow completely by 2 or 3 in the afternoon tomorrow. Let's go through those details, okay? This is a 2-part alert day. We've got 3 weather parts to talk about. 2 of them are for the alert day tomorrow. The first is that flash freeze potential. You don't need me to really go too deep into what a flash freeze is. A lot of you guys have been here and know how they work. But when you've got the rain that we had earlier this morning, the drizzle that's been kind of hanging around all day, keeping things so gloomy, and then you have all the snow melt that we've had the last 3 days, the roads are wet. It's just all wet from the rain and the snow melt. And because of that drizzle just hanging around all day, we didn't have any sunlight at all, obviously, but we also didn't really have much of a wind up until now to help dry out those roads a little bit. So a lot of roads are going to stay wet through the evening. And once those temperatures start to go below freezing, especially as they get around that 28, 29 degree mark, that moisture on the roads is going to start to freeze up. And that's what we call a flash freeze, when things go from liquid straight to ice. That was not a good snap. Sorry. Anyway, so that's the first component of the alert day, is after midnight tonight, we have to watch for that flash freeze potential to really become a concern into Sunday morning, even before the snow starts, which leads me into the second part of our alert day. We will be seeing snow across wave country tomorrow morning. When you see me on TV on sunrise at 6 a.m., I will be tracking snow. Mostly light snow, a steady light snow. But this is the kind of setup where you get these bands of showers, these bands of snow showers that could produce some heavy rates that might reduce visibility, in addition to getting those roads slick. So again, it's just going to be another mess to be outside tomorrow. Here's radar right now. There's nothing happening. We are good. There could be some drizzle as you're out and about tonight, but there hasn't been any flurries just yet, obviously, because most of us are still above the freezing mark. But let's zoom things out. I'll show you where the trouble is. All right? A couple of things. One, the cold front is way east of us now. It's moving through North Alabama. Shout out to my friends down in Huntsville. Eastern Tennessee, into the Virginias and Pennsylvania. That continues to move towards the East Coast. That colder air continuing to rush in behind that cold front. That's why we will keep seeing those temperatures drop pretty dramatically through the night, even with the cloud cover. But you can probably tell where our snow chance is. in Oklahoma. Across central Oklahoma, some light snow falling tonight. Northwestern Arkansas, southwestern Missouri. There's basically an upper low right here. And it's just going to kind of trek its way. Well, it's a little too far north. Hang on. There's the low. It's going to go south of us by and large, but the precipitation will still make it this far north across wave country. So it's out there to our west. It's getting its act together, and we'll continue to move into our backyard really before sunrise tomorrow morning. I think as early as 4 a.m., we'll be tracking widespread snow throughout the entire area. So let's dive into it, and I'll get to your comments. I didn't forget. Don't worry. But you notice the highest snow coverage is going to be between 4 a.m. tomorrow morning and 10 a.m. So during that 6-hour window is when we'll see the most accumulations out of this. And this is also when the roads will be at their worst and when visibilities could be low if you see those heavier snow showers, right? Of course, this is not at a good time because a lot of you want to head out to church tomorrow morning. Some of you may have not been to church in the last couple of weeks because you've had to cancel because of parking lot conditions or things like that. If you are still planning on heading to services in the morning, you have to plan on extra time, and you got to take it slow because those roads could get slick rather quickly, especially those side roads, those neighborhood roads, and any roads untreated. And I say that because you have to keep in mind with the rain we've had, a lot of that salt that was still on the roads from a couple weeks ago washed away. So I'm afraid the main roads might be a little more susceptible this time to more slick spots, especially tomorrow morning when that the snow coverage is at its highest and when we could be seeing those heavier snowfall rates. So 4 a.m. to 10 a.m. is when the snow chances are at their best right here. And then as we go into the early afternoon, you notice those chances drop fairly quickly. There may be some lingering flurries east of Louisville Saturday afternoon, but I really think the accumulating snow is done by the early afternoon hours tomorrow. And by that, I mean 1 or 2 o'clock. So I'll let you digest that. Let me get to a couple of comments because I've been rambling too much already. Let's see. Tim's watching out in Mount Washington tonight. Mary's in Carrollton. Lakin's in Texas. Is it warmer down there? Hopefully a little bit. Alicia's in Middletown. Let's see. Peg says hello from Scottsburg. We've got Judy in Campbellsville. We've got Karen in Round Hill, Kentucky. Hello, hello. Amy's watching us in Henry County. Ramona's in Mount Washington. We got everybody everywhere. Teresa, I think, is one of my Alabama friends from Morgan County, Alabama. Keep all that snow up north. You might have a little snow flurry action down in North Alabama tomorrow, but nothing like what we're going to have up here, that's for sure. All right, let's go through Futurecast. And this has been fairly consistent. Really going back to yesterday afternoon. I'll be honest with you guys, this did not look like a major impactful system Wednesday or Thursday. But yesterday, the high resolution model really came in hot with, hey, some accumulating snow that's going to cause issues on the roads. So that's why we flagged the alert day in advance. So here's 4:30 Sunday morning. There might be a little mix down in Adair County right at the beginning if those temperatures are still near freezing. But more than anything else, this is going to be all snow. And it's everywhere. As we go through the morning, what we're going to have to watch is those little bands of blue that you see. Let me take Futurecast full so you can see it better. See these blue bands that try to show up? Okay, that's where you get that concern for some streamers, if you will. So you kind of got two things going on at once. You got this low pressure, this upper low that's going right over us, basically. And you've also got moisture coming in from the Great Lakes is kind of producing that streaming effect where you get these narrow bands of slightly heavier snowfall that could put down a faster coating and could also reduce visibilities. Is this a snow squall threat? Not necessarily. I don't think it's going to be, just insanely like blinding whiteout kind of conditions. But if you get these heavier bands of snow showers, that will knock down those visibilities for sure. And any kind of snow, whether it's light or moderate or heavy, is going to cause some slick spots, especially on those secondary roads. So this is 8 a.m. as a lot of you are probably getting up, getting ready for church or brunch, whatever it might be. You notice those snow showers continuing across the entire region. And as we get towards midday, however, by noon, all we've got left are some lingering snow showers in our far eastern counties, but most of the action is moving into eastern Kentucky. And that's where I still expect to see the highest snowfall totals tomorrow. And then as we head into the early evening hours, around 6 o'clock tomorrow night, we're pretty much done with the snow. And the big story becomes the bitter and dangerous cold. Look at dinner time temperatures tomorrow night. Ouch, upper teens. And with that wind howling, it's really going to feel like the single digits tomorrow evening. So that's kind of a quick overview of how this is all going to play out. Starting off 4:30 tomorrow morning, just continuing to push on through. Again, this is a quick snow. This is a quick thumping. 6 hours at best, and then it starts to wind down pretty quickly after that. But given how cold it is, how cold it's going to be, it's going to cause some issues on those roadways, okay? Let's see. Comments. Teresa says, hello from Sellersburg. Thanks for keeping us updated. Of course. Glad to do it. Alicia asked about travel tomorrow evening. Okay. So I think the worst road conditions will be while the snow is falling, tomorrow morning especially. It's not going to be impossible to drive at any point during this snow, okay? You can get around. You just got to be smart. You just got to be careful, Give yourself an extra 20, 30 minutes. I always say double the time. If it takes you 15 minutes to get somewhere, make it 30 minutes. Give yourself 30 minutes or something like that. So as we get towards Sunday evening, most of the snow is done. I think the main roads will be okay by that point, but it'll be those side roads and neighborhood roads that will still have some slick spots into tomorrow night because it's going to get so cold. So again, Alicia, travel will not be impossible tomorrow, but tomorrow evening in particular, you'll have to watch for slick spots on those non-main roads, your 2-lane rural roads, your neighborhood roads, things like that. Hope that helps. Let's see. Sean says most of the snow from his yard in Taylorsville is gone. That's good. There's still a little bit of snow left in my front yard and my parking lot, but it could be worse. That's for sure. Let's see. Kevin says, how bad do you think the roads will be around 7 o'clock in the morning? They won't be good. They'll be pretty rough because that's when the snow is going to be at its most widespread. That's around the time when the heavier bands of snow might be taking place that can reduce those visibilities on the road. So the worst time for travel is going to be tomorrow morning. I think travel tomorrow morning is not impossible, but it will be very tricky. You'll have to plan on a lot of extra time if you have to be heading out early on Sunday morning. So Kevin, hope that answers your question there. Let's see. Thanks, Cynthia. I appreciate the kind words. Very much so. It's a labor of love. That is for sure. Let's see. Kathy doesn't want it. She don't want this mess again. Yeah, it doesn't end. Let's see. Anita, same story. No more winter, please. Let's see. A lot of us are asking about What about this time? What about totals? I will get to totals, actually, right now. So here we go. Find your town, find your county. There you go. Okay. This has been consistent for at least a day and a half now, where the highest snowfall totals will be in eastern Kentucky, that dark blue zone, Lexington, down towards Richmond, Berea, London, maybe even as far west as Somerset. We'll likely see our range is 2 to 4 inches of snow. That'll likely be on the lower end. 2 to 3 inches of snow is a good bet in eastern Kentucky, okay? That's where the heaviest snow is going to be out of this, at least here in the Commonwealth. But in our area, we've continued to push further to the west our 1 to 2 inch zone. In other words, we're becoming more and more confident that there will be more snowfall accumulations closer to I-65, including here in the metro. So I'm going to rattle off a few towns here. Carrollton, Bedford, Eminence, LaGrange, Shelbyville, Frankfort, Louisville, Shepherdsville, E-Town, Bardstown, Springfield, Lebanon, Campbellsville, Greensburg, Mumfordville, Hodgenville, Columbia. If you live near any of those towns, our current forecast has you in around 1 to maybe 2 inches of snow on Sunday. And again, I caution, this is a range. Don't look at the high end of the range necessarily. A lot of you will likely wind up closer to 1 inch of snow out of this, but a few could see closer to 2 inches of snow in this light blue zone that you see on our snowfall forecast map. Okay, so for our area, for wave country, the highest totals will be in that particular zone in light blue. The further west you go, out towards Litchfield, Hardinsburg, Brandenburg, Paoli, Jasper, Corden, Salem, you're not going to see as much. We're talking under 1 inch for most, if not all, of southern Indiana, as well as for Meade, Breckenridge, and Grayson counties in Kentucky. So this is not a big winter storm, guys. This is not 2 weeks ago, not even close. But it's enough snow, given how cold it's going to be, to cause some issues on the roads. And that's why we flagged tomorrow as an alert day. Give you that heads up that you got to be aware if you're out and about tomorrow. This could still be adjusted. Looking at data this evening, we got another round of data coming in here in the next hour or two that I'll have to look at, and we may have to adjust that 1 to 2 inch range even further to the west. Maybe snowfall totals are a little higher west of I-65. We'll see. But this is where things have been standing for quite a while now. It's been fairly consistent, especially among the high-res data. Hey, Dale's in a good mood. You other people ramble way too much. Look, if you don't like these long-form forecasts, watch us on TV. This is a blog. We're going to talk in more detail about the forecast on a blog versus 3 minutes on TV. Just saying. Let's see. Charlene's asking about JCPS. Is it too cold for kids to wait at the bus stop? You know, could it be too slippery with the snow coming in? You know, as we always say, we don't make calls on schools, but it will be something to keep in mind as we get towards Tuesday. Remember, Monday's a holiday, so the schools are closed already on Monday. Speaking of the cold, I'll go back to the snow map in a minute before we go. The cold weather advisory is now in place for Sunday night and Monday. Sunday night into Monday morning. Some of you were asking on Facebook earlier about is this new? Is this a new alert? We've never heard of it. It kind of is. The name is a new name. That is a new name for sure. Cold weather advisory is a different name. The Weather Service changed these alerts to factor in actual cold temperatures, actual extreme cold temperatures, in addition to wind chills. So they're looking at both things now when it comes to issuing these alerts, instead of just the wind chill. Hopefully that makes sense. But basically, every county in Wave Country is under a cold weather advisory now, except Carroll County. Carroll County, you guys will be under a cold weather advisory soon. Just not sure when. This starts at 7 o'clock tomorrow evening and goes until 1 o'clock Monday afternoon. And during that window is when we'll have the dangerous cold. Wind chills for sure below zero Monday morning. This is what I'm talking about. Let me take this map full because it's got a lot of numbers on it. The white number with each city here is the actual temperature Monday morning. The number with the blue circle around it is the wind chill. So when you look at Louisville, sorry, I'm tired. When you look at Louisville, the forecast actual temperature Monday morning is 6 above zero. But when you look at the wind chill right next to it, that's the dangerous part, is we'll have those wind chills possibly around 8 below zero here in the metro. And you notice across the rest of the region, we'll have those actual temperatures in single digits above zero, with those wind chills single digits below zero. I am very thankful that it is a holiday on Monday, so the kiddos will not have to be waiting at the bus stop in this. But if you do have to go to work Monday morning, because I know a lot of you still do, dress in layers. Cover your face with like a face mask or a winter face mask. You know what I mean? To a hat, anything like that, 2 or 3 layers, just bundle up and try to limit your time outside if you can. This is the kind of cold that can cause frostbite in 15 or 30 minutes if you're not careful. So again, that's why the cold weather advisory is in place for Monday morning, is for actual temperatures slightly above zero with wind chills below zero. So this I think is going to be the most dangerous cold morning this week. But there will be more. There will be more dangerously cold nights. You see on the 10-day earliest alert that's popping up now. Look at Monday's high, by the way, for MLK Day. Beautiful day, bright blue sky, high of 18. I'm trying to be positive. Let's look at Tuesday morning. Full screen. Now, what's going to help us Tuesday morning is we'll have some clouds around. Clouds act as a little bit of a blanket to keep us, quote unquote, warmer Tuesday morning. So we'll have actual air temperatures in the low teens, like 10, 11, 12 degrees. But the wind chills will be just barely above zero in many spots. I don't foresee a cold weather advisory Tuesday morning, but it's still obviously going to be dangerously cold. So wind chills in the single digits. We'll have to see what schools decide to do on Tuesday when the kids head back from the holiday weekend. And of course, we have to factor in, if we get a decent coating of snow tomorrow, all of these numbers that I'm throwing out tonight go a couple degrees even lower, which would make it even more extreme. So that's the story for Tuesday morning. Let me get back to the rest of the 10-day. Wednesday morning, same story again, single digits for actual temperatures. Wind chills from 0 to 5 below zero. So you got Monday morning, Tuesday morning, and Wednesday morning that will be dangerously cold. So dress in layers. If at all possible, I really don't want kids waiting at the bus stop. I get it, childcare and things like that. Sometimes they may not have an option, but if at all possible, just have the kids wait in the car for the bus, or wait in the house if you live right next to the bus stop, something like that, because this is the kind of cold that you don't want to mess with. But I think the most extreme cold is going to be Monday morning, but Tuesday and Wednesday morning could still very much be dangerously cold. So when do we thaw out again? Well, Wednesday afternoon, we have a high of 28. Yippee. But once we drop below freezing tonight, we will not get back above freezing again until Thursday afternoon. And it's still going to be chilly with highs in the 30s. So here comes another blast of Arctic air, guys. It's no fun, but it is January after all, and we've had these blasts of Arctic air for many, many years this time of year. All right, what comments, questions do we have? Let's see here. A lot of you guys watching tonight, nearly 700 of you on just our social media platforms. We appreciate it. Let's see. Adam says, hey, from Bloomington. People like the blogs better. Kathy likes the blogs. Good. Good. Michelle says she likes to hear me ramble. Good. You're one of the few people out in the world that does, Michelle, so I appreciate it. Let's see. See, Joan says, thanks from Mount Washington. James says, thanks from Campbellsville. Shonda asks, do they just have an advisory level for cold, or is there a warning as well? There is a warning, too. Let me go back to that map and I'll show you guys. And again, this is like the old, do you remember the wind chill advisories and the wind chill warnings that we've had for years? It's the same thing with different names because we're factoring in actual temperatures now in addition to wind chills. So if you look at the top of the map, you kind of see our color code. You have a cold weather advisory, which is the lighter shade of, I guess that would be pink or purple, whatever you want to call it. That's what we are all under, aside from Carroll County. Then you have the next level up is an extreme cold watch, which is what Carroll County has at the moment, but that will likely change if you're watching us in Carrollton. And then the highest level is an extreme cold warning. And for us, that's where you get those wind chills 10 or 15 below zero, or those actual temperatures. I think it's 5 below zero, something like that. I don't foresee us getting extreme cold warnings out of this. But I mean, you don't want to get too tied up in the names. It's going to be dangerously cold, especially Monday morning. That looks like the worst of it, but also into Tuesday morning and Wednesday morning. And also keep in mind during the days, Monday and Tuesday especially, wind chills are going to be in the single digits or teens all day. So it's just the kind of days where you just don't want to, you just don't want to be out, right? You just want to stay inside, stay warm. Let's see. Laura says, I appreciate the blogs, can never get enough details on the few minutes they give y'all in the news. Well, thank you for the kind words, Laura. Yeah, when it's active, we ask for a little extra time, but we still have to get to the news of the day. So I definitely like these so we can just take our time figuring out, talking out how this is all going to play out, right? Let's see. So many of you guys are commenting tonight. Anita likes the blogs. Very helpful and informative. Good. That's what they're here for. That's awesome. Lori has a good question that we have not touched on yet. Are we getting another system coming in on Thursday? Possibly. I will go to our 10-day first, and then we'll talk about that system on Thursday. This looks like a clipper, easy for me to say. This looks like a clipper moving through. We were concerned about this maybe being a southern winter storm that could try to lift north. That no longer appears to be the case, which, by the way, Tuesday down on the Gulf Coast, it's going to be very interesting down there. down towards Montgomery, Alabama, maybe even Mobile, Gulf Shores might get some snow or a wintry mix. Craziness down there on Tuesday, especially. But let's talk about Thursday here at home. There is going to be a clipper moving through. The question is, how much moisture does it have with it? That's always a big question when it comes to these clipper systems. But you notice it kind of scoots in from the north. We'll keep the chance for some light snow around, especially Thursday night into the day on Friday. Too early to talk about potential accumulations, but my gut feeling at this point is this clipper late this week would be very minor, light, low impact. But that's where things stand now. You notice, by the way, thank you for asking that, Lori. Good question. You notice the rest of the 10-day, once we get towards next weekend, it's looking milder. And it looks like it might stay that way for a little bit. Highs in the 40s. That's where we should be in January. Looking forward to that. Let's see. Peter on YouTube says it is 83 degrees in Victoria, Australia at the moment, with a forecast high of 97 in the land down under today, Sunday, for them. Let's see. Lady in KY says, I'm glad you're not getting the axe like all the Byron Allen meteorologists. Yeah, that's a shame. I don't want to get too deep into that. My previous station was an Allen media station. For those of you in North Alabama, you know that well. Yeah, I could say a lot of things about that, but I'm not going to. But yeah, keep all those Byron Allen meteorologists in your thoughts, because that's a shame. They have to deal with that. Michelle says, my husband says I watch the blogs religiously. I never miss one, and if I do, I rewatch it later. Love it. Love it, Michelle. Thank you. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap things up. Brenda says, thanks for the info. Watching us not too far from the station on Jackson Street here in Louisville. Let's see. Brian says on Facebook, the next forecast needs to have some 80s in it. Yes, it does. But I'm afraid that may not be happening for a while, my friend, if only. All right. So that's going to do it for tonight. Kayla, is asking about Valley Station and PRP when it comes to snow. Let me pull up the snowfall map one more time before we go, and then I'm going to stop talking because I've been going on for too long already. Still think the highest snowfall totals for us in our area will be basically east of Interstate 65 in Kentucky. So that does barely include Louisville. I think here in Louisville, so Kayla, you're asking about Valley Station and PRP. I think here in the metro, just as a blanket, we'll likely get close to an inch here in the city. Could be a smidge higher in a few spots, could be a smidge lower, but I think the average will be around an inch. We could see 1 to possibly 2 inches of snow in places like Frankfort, Shelbyville, Bardstown, Springfield, Lebanon, Campbellsville. 1 to 2 inches for that area you see in light blue. And then we'll see higher snow totals out towards Lexington and into the mountains of eastern Kentucky. And the further west you go into southern Indiana, not quite as much, less than an inch for those areas. Let's see. Carol asked, should we drip faucets tonight? You don't have to worry about faucets tonight. The next 3 nights, though, I would recommend it, especially tomorrow night. Because, again, that's going to be the worst of the cold is tomorrow night with those wind chills between -5 and -10. And it could be still dangerously cold Monday night and Tuesday night with those wind chills below 0, both of those nights too. So yes, start dripping those faucets tomorrow night. Tonight, you're okay. Save on that water bill. Rose wants 70, sunny, and no storms. So do we. So do we. All right, that's going to do it for tonight. I appreciate all 750 of you watching on our social media platforms. If you did not catch this entire video, give it a couple of minutes and it will show back up on your feed, and you can rewatch it at your desire if you so choose. We'll be back on TV tonight on Wave News at 11. So if you're a fan of watching the quicker forecast, tune in on the TV side of things on Wave News at 11 tonight. I'll be on Sunrise tomorrow morning as well. And I'll do more updates here on the social media, on the digital side of things throughout the day tomorrow. I'm thinking I'll do one around 8 a.m., around the 8 o'clock hour tomorrow morning. Then we'll do one probably close to 11 tomorrow morning. And then we'll do our normal one tomorrow night as well. All right, so we got you covered wherever you watch us, here on the digital side or on the TV side. We have got you covered. This is not a huge snowstorm, guys, but if you are going to be out tomorrow morning, you need to be very, very careful with that snow falling and slick spots likely developing early tomorrow morning. Winter's still in high gear, a couple months to go. So hang in there. We'll have some warmer days to talk about soon enough. Until then, take care of yourselves, take care of each other. I'll see you again on TV tonight at 11.